rematch of last year's 5A championship, Joliet Catholic Nazareth Academy. We're so glad to have you with us. Let's go down to the field for some insight on the Nazareth offense. Here's Nicole Sedevy.
Well, Sam, Nazareth is coming into this Class 5A title game rematch locked and loaded with 4 running backs available in their backfield. We chatted with head coach Tim Rackey earlier this week, and he said he will use any of these guys at any time he's comfortable. They each come with their own set of skills. The Roadrunners have a 32-point per game average margin of victory, something Rackey credits to those backs. He forces defenses to load up the boxes against them, opening up their running game for quarterback Logan Malachuk, who can also use his feet. He has great vision downfield, and he's able to pick up those yards for the Roadrunners when they need them. Take a look for that, guys.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, Rackey, just a wonderful resume. 9-time state champion, 11-time finalist. On the other sideline, Jake Jaworski. He's got 2 championships, 3 appearances in the state title game. So, Jack, a lot of experience, veteran coaching staffs, veteran teams. They know what they're doing.
Well, and the other part of it is they've played each other. This will be the 3rd time this year. So do they know each other pretty well? Yeah. Do they have a scouting report on each other? Yes. It'll come down to execution today to see what the difference is and who wins the state championship.
For a state championship, again, it's Nazareth and Joliet Academy. Eddie McLean gets the kickoff, and McLean, nice little burst of speed as he stretches across to the 21, where he's brought down by a couple of defenders. And we'll get a look at that high-octane Nazareth offense first, led by the quarterback, Logan Malachuk. Here is the Roadrunner starting lineup, presented by OSF. Not only that 4-headed monster rushing attack, Jack, but these wideouts, some of the best in the state.
No doubt about it. A very experienced football team. There's actually starters on there that have started for 4 years, including the quarterback. Most for 3 years.
And there's Malachuk, all-state, 4-year starter, and over 3,000 yards passing this season. Looking for his 3rd state championship. His first pass of the title game is dropped. Jake Sestone, junior wideout, usually so sure-handed, but an early drop as we meet the Joliet Catholic defense, and it's presented by OSF. Hilltoppers have their work cut out for them today. Maybe benefiting them and all defenses all day is the weather. Wind up to 20 miles per hour, and the feels-like temperature 9 degrees at kickoff, as the first Nazareth run is broken up big time in the backfield. Ian Campbell on the stop.
Well, what's really interesting is it's very important on this first possession for one team or the other to establish themselves. And, of course, right there, Joliet Catholic has done a nice job on the first 2 plays. Now, Nazareth has 3rd and about 12, which is what you want to do on that first possession, put them in a bind early.
A loss of 3 yards sets up 3rd and 13. Malachuk with 5 wideouts. Starting to feel the heat. Campbell hunting him down. And Malachuk squeezes it onto the near sideline. Dropped and incomplete. Intended for James Penley. Oh, it was a catch. Now they're saying it's a catch. Penley held on to this.
Well, I think what happened was he had possession before he stepped out of bounds and before he fumbled it right at the end. So that's why they gave him possession.
We just saw the ball pop out.
This is what happens when you have a scrambling quarterback who's an athlete. He can make plays happen with big yardage in front of him.
It's a 16-yard gain. And Malachuk's first completion of his 3rd state title game. Now a run on the left end. Charles Calhoun has some daylight. Calhoun, a stiff arm, and he's brought down to the 30. There's a flag in the Nazareth backfield, though. And a man down.
It's a big play to come back.
So it's a hold on the Nazareth offense and erases what would have been a gain of 30-plus.
Now, what's interesting about this is both these teams that played each other. They played each other in the state championship game, and, of course, they played each other in the 5th ball game of the year. What you're going to see is is different change-up defenses. They don't want each other to get in a routine as far as seeing the same defense. So they're going to be doing a lot of different things, changing up the coverage, changing up the fronts, giving them a lot of different looks for those veteran quarterbacks.
Injury to Luke in J-Chalk. Sophomore right guard for Nazareth. Limping off with the assistance of the trainers. They don't want to lose people this early. Veteran starters. One more look at the hold. What do we see here, Jack? There's the hold right there. Good call by the officials. That's a backbreaker for Nazareth. They had 3rd and 12. They pick it up. Now they come back again. Then at the tail end, they lose their right guard. So now Tim Rackey inserts junior Carson Ryan, 54 in the dark blue, lined up at right guard, and a 1st and 20 for Malachik. One of the best quarterbacks in the state, an all-state honoree this year. Malachik going deep. Got him wide open. He's got Walker wide at the 35. Trenton Walker to the house. It's a 74-yard touchdown. And the Roadrunners strike first. How did that happen, you wondered? He could be that wide open. The reason was what they did offensively. They put a man in motion, and the secondary got confused on who was going to take the motion man. They gave up the slot man deep. The safety jumped the motion man and forgot to grab the slot man. He went right down the field. You can see the safety coming up. He's kind of frozen, and there goes the wide open wide receiver. Just that motion confused the secondary just enough to get him wide open. And Malachik puts the ball right on the money. What an early start for Nazareth. Now for the Nazareth extra point, Frankie Nichols makes it 7-zip after the 16th touchdown connection of the season between Malachik and Trenton Walker. Well, the Roadrunners are gunning to make it a 3-peat. And how about this laser beam? Malachik, Walker for 6.
All right, let's go. I'll strap for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself.
Don't forget toys for the dog.
Rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards. Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go, from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
This 5A state championship game already electric. Nazareth by 7, and now it's time for our keys to the game, Jack.
Well, interestingly enough, for Joliet Catholic, stopped the big play. Well, we certainly didn't see that on that play, that big touchdown. They want to control the line of scrimmage, but again, they had some issues there. And for Nazareth, control and adjust. But the reason for that is because of the double wing that Joliet Catholic runs. They have to stop the run. That's where Joliet Catholic is so strong. They control the clock. They control the chains. Nazareth has got to make sure that they can stop the run.
Keys to the game are brought to you by Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities. 74-yard touchdown from Logan Malachik to Trenton Walker. Their second longest of the season. Earlier, a couple months ago, they went 75 yards. So second time they've hooked up on a big one like that. And this one is dropped. The kickoff dropped, but recovered right away by a Joliet Catholic player. That was Zach Pamato jumping on it. Adonis Hicks initially muffed it. Pamato saves the day.
He really does, and it actually is good field position for Joliet Catholic, but put a little scare into the coaches there. They don't need that kind of a situation right after a big play by Nazareth, but good field position here for Joliet Catholic.
Junior quarterback Lucas Simulik leading the charge. His first state title game starts with a handoff to Nate McGreeny and over the right end for a gain of about 5. We told you about the 4-headed monster of Nazareth's rushing attack. It's 2-headed monster for Joliet Catholic, and it works very well.
And in their running style,
yards.
and in their game, they really need to do this. First down is so critical for them.
Why is that?
Well, because they're a running team, so they're not a throwing team for the most part. So you want to make sure in first down that you get decent yardage.
They got a nice chunk of 5, and now here goes another run. Vince Bramer, the fullback, for about 4, and it'll set up a 3rd and manageable. Joliet Catholic offensive starters are brought to you by OSF. You see McGreeny and Stringham, both of them are 1,200-yard rushers, both of them north of a dozen touchdowns.
Well, that's balanced offense, no doubt about it.
Doesn't happen without the big boys up front.
No, it doesn't.
3rd and 1. Here goes McGreeny for much more than 1. He's brought down by the All-State linebacker, Gabe Kaminsky, but out to the 42 for first down.
Well, and this is what Joliet Catholic wants to do. It's nothing really fancy. They want to rely on that offensive line that averages 283 pounds. And they got two or three good running backs to run in behind that big offensive line. Take advantage and give the ball to good, tough backs. Run behind a big offensive line. Control the clock and the chains. That's what they're doing right now.
283 pounds on the offensive line equals 288 rushing yards per game for Joliet Catholic. First carry for Larry Stringham goes out to the 35. An all-state running back. Stringham is a senior. And the defensive line and starting lineup for Nazareth is presented by OSF.
Well, that's the first time that Joliet Catholic ran out of the double wing, which is usually their mantra. They showed a different look coming down to that point, but that's how they run their counter going back. After they show power in one direction, they come back with counters coming back. Tough for the linebackers to stay alert.
Stringham's off the field right now as Simulik throws his first pass, and it is complete in the flat for a Joliet Catholic touchdown. Keegan Farnas. 36 yards. We got a ball game.
Well, this was what the running game will do for you. It'll end up giving you play action with people that are wide open because the secondary is used to looking for backs on the sweeps and the counters. And there he is, wide open coming out. He was in the wing position. And that safety lost track of where he was. Results in a good play-action touchdown for Joliet Catholic. They're right back in it.
5th of the season for Farnas. And Vinny DeNovo on to tie it up. In a state title game rematch. All knotted at 7. So Malachek and Nazareth make it 7-zip. Simulik and Joliet punch right back. And we will be back.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family, to yours.
Knotted at 7 in a rematch of the same 5A title game we saw last year. Dueling phenomenal pass plays, and Keegan Farnoff's got wide open here, Jack.
Well, what happens is that they get caught up, the secondary get caught up in all the action in the backfield, and they lose sight of where a receiver is, and that's exactly what happened there. I mean, it wasn't anything too fancy for the receiver, but when they made that look with the cross action that caught up the safety, and he ended up being wide open. And this is what happens when the defensive back, they've got to be disciplined and realize that they can't be looking into the backfield. That's not their job. They're not going to be making tackles for losses. They've got to cover receivers. Both teams are in that situation.
Joliet
the game could be decided by the secondaries today.
Right. Even in a run-heavy offense like Joliet Catholic, they run the ball. Only 53 pass yards per game. 36-yard touchdown a moment ago was tied for the longest of the season. So 7-7 as Nazareth is set to take over, and Calhoun with a huge burst of speed to the 45. And Nazareth's offense coming back out there as someone's helmet just pops out, and the flag comes flying. Lead official of this crew is Chris Head. We had a lot of penalties yesterday in the 1A and the 4A games. And this is our second penalty of the 5A.
These are two really well-coached football teams. You're not going to see an awful lot of penalties here. There's a good shot up there of Tim Radke, who's done a great job with Nazareth. Outstanding football coach, had a great career at Driscoll. Driscoll ends up closing. There's a good shot of the officials who have earned their right to be able to officiate in the state championship game. An excellent crew.
So it was a great return already. And then tack on a face mask, 15 more yards, which means Nazareth, that potent offense, gets a chance to set up in Joliet territory. Another look.
Good shot by the cameraman and a great shot by the officials picking that up. Sometimes that happens so quickly that you can miss it. And they're right on top of the play.
Brendan Lakota, the guilty party, as Malachik sets up for the second Roadrunner possession. Malachik looking for Walker again, and this time overthrows him by a step.
What they're trying to do by all of that movement in the formations is to get single coverage, man to man. They want to get what they consider their skill guy against one person, and it just, can I outrun him? And can Malachuk put the ball on the money? They're going to do that most of the day. And there are other routes. They like to run vertical, which is just go routes with their speed, and then they like to run horizontals, which is cross the field, especially if it's man coverage, because they can get across the field, and it's tough for the defensive back to keep up with them.
Malachuk will take it himself. And with the slide, he gets across near the 30. Near that first down, not quite. The third and very short.
He's really an outstanding athlete when you think of having a quarterback as your starter for 4 years. I mean, he started in this state championship game as a freshman, which is very highly unusual for anybody.
If he wins this game, he'll be a 3-time state champ. Here's Malachuk on 3rd and 1, throwing deep for Donato. And he makes a nice back shoulder catch at the 15. A gutsy call on 3rd and short.
Well, you've got to have confidence in a quarterback of his abilities. And, of course, that ball was put right on the money. I mean, they love to throw the football. They've got great receivers, skilled kids. And they got an outstanding quarterback, and they're not afraid to throw the football. See how he looks away, and then he comes back. And he's got single coverage there, and he puts the ball right on the money.
Single coverage with the linebacker. Joliet's Nick Bueno was on it. 16-yard completion. And back to the ground game, met by a brick wall. Really no room for Justin Watson. So Nazareth so far, a lot of success through the air. And not so much on the ground.
Well, their run game is actually not one of those situations where it sets up the passing game. It's the reverse for Nazareth. Their passing game sets up the run. What happens is they get those linebackers dropping out to help out on coverage, and that opens up the run for either the running back or the quarterback.
Back to the air. This one finds Walker. Walker with the cutback. Walker with the touchdown. 16-yard connection. And the second of the day for Aiden Blue.
And they relied on Logan Malachek's arm on this particular drive to get down the field and deliver the football to their skilled players. And how they wanted a good cut right here. You can see the ball is thrown basically before he makes that out cut. And then just right here, a little power getting into the end zone.
Just mowing over his defenders. And Tim Rackey's team is up. PAT tacked on. 14-7 Nazareth. A team that has won 2 state championships in the last 2 years, going for a third. And here's their latest touchdown.
Well, you're going to be seeing some good action as far as the offensive line does a nice job of pass blocking, gives him plenty of time to deliver the football, and the timing of it all, he throws that ball before the back or the receiver ever makes the cut, and that's a sign of a good timing hookup between the quarterback and the running backs. They do it an awful lot in practice and certainly in games to get the kind of statistics that they have and the success that they've had as a team.
And how about the end of that play, too, Jack? Walker gets the ball at the 5 and then just mows over his defenders.
Well, that's the power of it, but you also got a little help with momentum from other defenders that kind of pushed him into the end zone.
We know it's cold down there, too. 9 degrees is the wind chill. So yesterday, we didn't really see much success through the air. A lot of ground game. Today, Malachek, 4 of 6, 122 yards and 2 scores already. Only halfway through the first quarter in the 5A state title game. Little pooch kick goes out to the 26. And a nice little Joliet Catholic return to set up beautiful field position. Keegan Farnos, who scored the touchdown, but a late flag just came in. Looks like this one might be against Nazareth.
Joliet Catholic doesn't need any help as far as getting good field position.
Defense.
It's a face mask on Nazareth. So 2 kickoffs in a row, we've had face masks on the kicking team to set up perfect field position.
Again, interesting to see how Joliet Catholic comes at him. A good shot here, taking a look at where that takes occurrence right there. Kind of grabs him. Good call by the officials.
And on the first run of the possession, Nate McGreeny trucks his way to the 36. It's a first down for Joliet.
Their running backs are really tough kids. They all averaged, they both had a couple thousand yards, 1,000 yards each, but it's not like they gain over 100 yards each game. They're right at it, in the 90s as far as yards per game, but that's the balance that they need to have, and that's what they give them.
Stringham in motion, Stringham the carry, and this one goes out to the 30. That extra effort keeps the feet chugging for a couple more.
Good running backs. 4 down territory for Joliet Catholic. They rely on that running game, and they rely on that offensive line. It's really tough from a defensive standpoint when you see the misdirection and a wing tee. That's a tough formation to adjust to.
Here's that motion, and now it's McGreeny up the middle. McGreeny can't get the push. Kaminsky brings him down. And 3rd and short coming.
Basically always 4 down territory. Anytime you get across the 50-yard line for Joliet Catholic, they consider 4 downs to pick up that first.
The junior quarterback, Lucas Simulik, already a state champion in baseball, looking to win his first football state title with a big 3rd and short. Stringham off to the right, and Stringham just plunges through Looks like enough for the first down. Nicole's got something for us. What's going on down there?
Yeah, Sam, I took a look at Luke Injaychuk, that number 71, who went down during Nazareth's first possession. He's been working with trainers for a good 10-15 minutes now. They're checking out his right knee. He was testing it, trying to put a little pressure on it. After that, they did tape it up on the top and the bottom. He's been working on taking deep breaths. He's been pacing back and forth up and down the sideline, but trainers tell me his return is still questionable.
Thank you, Nicole. We'll keep an eye on Luke. It's a nice string 'em run. Keeps Joliet Catholic's offense churning. That was 10 yards. They're in a groove.
Well, they really are in a groove, and the thing is, for Nazareth, not so much for the defensive linemen, but for the linebackers in the secondary, it's so difficult to keep discipline and not overreact to the motion that the Joliet Catholic gives you.
On 2nd and short, easy first down this time. This run game is really in a rhythm. 6 yards a carry so far for the Hilltoppers. And another first down, this time courtesy of Bremer.
This is a tough game for Joliet Catholic because you've already played Nazareth and you lost to them only by 3 in the regular season, but it's always tough to come back and play somebody the second time. No matter what the score was in that first ball game, it's tough to get the kids ready to play somebody for a second time, especially in the state championship game.
These two teams met in September. 16-13 win for Nazareth, which was rematch number 1. And then in the backfield, Stringham is ripped down by a host of defenders, led by Chris Caskey. This was a loss of 2.
You can see good penetration there by number 88, Chris Caskey, 6'4", 205, very active defensive end. He's only a sophomore. They get an awful lot of experience with their younger kids, sophomores and juniors, get a lot of playing time.
Here's the 8th play of the drive, and the first pass. Simulik drops it off, and out to the 6-yard line goes the tight end, Ryan Jurisic, with his first touch.
That was a great catch. Anytime that you're running full speed and the ball is below your waist and you catch it, that's an outstanding catch because you lose sight. You're looking down at the ball rather than when it's above your waist, you're looking more or less right at it coming to you. So tough catch, but a great play right there.
3rd and goal here, so 6 yards for a touchdown. 2-yard territory or 2-down territory?
Absolutely. They're not going to be kicking a field goal.
This is the state title game. You go for the touchdown. On 3rd and goal from the 6, here's McGreeny, a power run. McGreeny is just shy of the goal line. An inch from the end zone.
And 4th down.
So in the waning moment of the first quarter, a huge 4th down's coming.
Good power. Look at the leg drive that he has right there. Now here's where you take advantage of that big offensive line of 283 pounds. Let's watch where the surge occurs.
The ball is on the inch line.
Oh, he
Fumble on
fumbled
the
it.
snap. Stringham picks it up. And now he chugs his legs forward. Is he in?
No.
No. Still shy of the goal line. Nazareth with a huge goal line stand.
Unbelievable. Wow. Only high school football. This is something that you rarely would ever see with a Joliet Catholic team that runs the ball the way they do. Just kind of a minor miscue as far as handling the snap by the quarterback. Some of those things that you just take for granted.
They practice these snaps hundreds, thousands of times.
Actually, I think that he got hit by the pulling guard. It was going to be a power play.
Yep.
He got hit by the pulling guard that was going to lead up into the hole.
Yeah, that's Malik Saleh. Just a timing error. But again, these things are practiced over and over again, that wing T offense. And all the motion comes back to bite Joliet Catholic.
Now the key is, can they make the transition to defense and keep Nazareth in this kind of a poor field position.
Ball is on the inch line. So Malachik from the back of his own end zone. Ready to throw. And he throws it deep. This one is incomplete. Intended wideout streaking down the field was Sestone. And a phenomenal breakup for Mike Jaworski.
Sam, this gives you a perfect idea of the confidence that Nazareth has in their passing game, the confidence they have in their quarterback and receivers. Who throws from the 1-inch line coming out? And the ball is really actually right on the money. A great defensive play right there. Absolutely a great defensive play.
Swatted it away. No soup for you. A dime from Malachik, who is on it today.
Jaworski was right on top of him. Don't be surprised if they try to throw their way out of this situation.
Play clock winding down, and Malachik goes with just a little slant route here, and at least they're out of the end zone. Garrett Reese across to about the 10.
Close to a first down.
That'll be the final play of the first quarter. And what a first quarter it was. 2 big Nazareth touchdowns. A Joliet response, then a Joliet fumble at the goal line. A rematch of last year's title game already delivering.
From the Capitol to your living room, Capitol Connection, your source for accurate and balanced Illinois political news.
Investigating what's happening in Springfield the way only Capitol Bureau Chief Cole Henke can.
I'm breaking the stories and asking the tough questions about issues that matter to you.
Unraveling the stories behind the policies and the decisions that impact our state and communities.
I'm holding our lawmakers accountable and keeping you connected.
Capitol Connection, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on WCIA 3.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
The Federal Communications Commission requires that television stations prepare quarterly children's television reports. These reports outline television stations' responsiveness to educational and informational needs of children. The quarterly children's television programming reports for WCIX 49 are available for public inspection at WCIA.com. Click on the link at the bottom of the page.
Deals are only at Ashley.
A thriller so far in the 5A state title game. Good to have you back. Sam Brief, Jack McInerney, and our A-plus crew with you. Let's check in on the road to normal, brought to you by the Illinois State Police. Integrity, service, pride. Joliet Catholic's path, just 95 miles south and west to get here to Hancock Stadium. Similar route for Nazareth Academy and LaGrange Park. From Cook County, suburban Chicago, down to Hancock Stadium. Road to normal. And here we are in normal. A big 3rd and 1 for Nazareth to start quarter 2. Logan Malachik put on a show in the first quarter. 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's in the gun. And a drop on the handoff. Still fighting for it. Campbell almost jumped on it. Hilltoppers say they have it. Time to sort it out.
I don't know, no.
Now they're indicating 4th down. So a Nazareth punt is coming. The second fumble in a few minutes.
Giving you an idea of what happened in that first quarter, Joliet Catholic, which they're supposed to do, had the ball for 8 minutes and averaged about just a little over 5 yards a carry, which is Joliet Catholic football. Nazareth, on the other hand, averaged 12 yards per play, but they throw the ball, so that's kind of the difference you're going to see as far as possession. Joliet Catholic will have a shorter yardage, but they'll have more possession time.
It's a fake. It's a fake and a first down and then some. Frankie Nichols lined up to punt it. Instead, he runs it for 30.
Who does that? You talk about letting it all hang out in the state championship game.
From his own end zone. What guts?
Well, when you throw the ball 3 times out of your own end zone, it's not a major surprise to think that they might do something like that. You can see they pull a lineman right there. So this was a call all the way. It wasn't as if something he read and had the opportunity to do that if he saw it. This was a call all the way. And it's something they saw on film and they scouted.
So continuing the drive, Calhoun bursts through and he trucks to the 35. Well, it's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year, 3 times in a span of about 370 days. So sometimes you got to pull one out. And Tim Rackey, veteran coach, just did that.
Well, the other part of that, too, is both these teams play really tough regular season schedules. Just mind-boggling schedule. They don't shy away from anybody. And then they both had an easy path only because they're so good in the playoffs.
Movement on the line. Looks like a false start on Nazareth.
False start, number 54.
Sometimes you wonder why is that path that they take in the playoffs when you look at the score so easy? Well, it's not it's that easy. It's the fact that the regular season schedule they played was so tough that allowed them to be so ready and experienced for that playoff schedule.
These two teams combined for 5 losses in the regular season, the most of any of the state title matchups this year. Nice little hitch route to Walker, and it's a first down. Malachuk keeps cooking.
They are so confident in their passing game. Of course, when you have a 4-year starter, and every year he has gotten better. Every year. And you can see how well he throws. A right-handed quarterback going to his left. A very tough throw, but he puts the ball right basically on the money.
6 of 9, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malachuk already delivering in his final high school game. With Sestone in motion. This one into the flat for Donato. And he's got a first down. To the Joliet Catholic 48.
And again, the formation set up that completion. When they ran the man in motion, the defense backed up because they already had a motion man going down the field, and the back came out right out of the backfield. There was no linebacker there. It was wide open. And to them, that's just like a pitch or a toss to get out on the edge. Good throw. And that's a tough throw for a quarterback, throwing that ball out into the flat.
And he's diversifying 7 completions to 5 different players. And in the run game now, Donato has his second first down.
And again, as we mentioned, Sam, the passing game for Nazareth sets up the run game. Good job right there. A little holding. You could see the hand on the back. But another situation where Nazareth does a good job. Their offensive line is pretty big, 256 pounds average.
What's a first down without a little holding? Here's Malachuk. Deep drop. And a deep throw across the middle. It's caught. And an easy walk-in touchdown for James Penley. The aerial assault for Nazareth is on it today, 34 yards.
That was a heck of a catch because that ball actually was on his back hip. And when you're running away from the receiver or the quarterback and you have to reach back because the ball's on your back hip, take a look at exactly where it is. Right there on his back hip, he's got to make that turn. You talk about an outstanding athlete, be able to make a play like that, running full speed away from the ball. Great camera work, but a great catch, too.
3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, all with extra points. You go from a fake punt in the back of your end zone to scoring a touchdown in the other end zone. That is championship football. And Nazareth is vying for a 3-peat. Looking good so far here in Normal.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care. In person or virtual. We're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum. We can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Well, any scoring drive of 99 yards is impressive. Add in a fake punt, very impressive.
Well, the other part of it is, too, when you talk about confidence in your players, throwing out of the end zone is one, and then I'm not surprised that when they run the fake punt coming out of the end zone. I mean, that's just Nazareth. That's Tim Rackey. He has great confidence in his players. The players have great confidence in him, and that's why they have such a great program. I mean, they just execute so well. They're so well coached. Same with Joliet Catholic.
Under Tim Rackey, 5 Illinois state championships in 7 state title game appearances. 2 of them in the last 2 years. Last year against the same team they're playing today.
And he had four titles when he was at Driscoll.
Caught by Stringham at the 28 and just tiptoes out of bounds. Well, Rackey has been fortunate to have a legit quarterback his last few years. Logan Malachik today has been electric through the air. 8 of 11, 187 yards, 3 scores.
Well, a little breakdown in the secondary of Joliet Catholic. Some good routes, some very good throws, putting the ball right on the money, and that's timing. That's confidence in both the quarterback and the wide receivers, but a little breakdown occasionally by the secondary for Joliet Catholic that has allowed Nazareth to be so successful in the air.
And now a run-heavy Joliet Catholic team goes back to the ground, back to Stringham for just a couple.
Joliet Catholic will not panic, I guarantee you that. And they'll sit there and they'll play their game of 4 yards, 5 yards a carry, and that ends up getting that secondary to creep up a step at a time, and all of a sudden they hit you with the play-action pass.
14 runs so far, only 2 passes. One of them was for a touchdown. Tim Rackey watching his defense look to hold here. And it's a run up the middle to the fullback Bremer, who stretches across to the 35. 3rd and short is next.
Now, this is a little different situation here. 3rd and short. If they don't get it, they're not going to be going for it.
No?
They don't want to give Nazareth, as you saw the explosive offense that Nazareth has, they're not going to give them field position like this. They'll kick it and hope that they have to make some bigger plays. And as we had in our keys of the game, Joliet Catholic has got to stop Nazareth's explosive plays. And that's very difficult for anybody to do.
2 of 2 on 3rd down today. And there was some movement before that snap. The timing seemed to be off. And it's a false start against the Hilltoppers. Oh, that's a killer. 3rd and 3 becomes 3rd and 8.
The other part of it is when you look at the clock and the chains, Joliet Catholic does something that most teams don't do anymore, where the quarterback comes over to the sideline to the coach to get the play. That, takes more time off the clock, but sometimes that can occasionally give you a delay to the game if they take too much time getting back and forth.
He's getting into the huddle at 11 seconds, out of the huddle at 8, and now he's got to go right away. 4, 3, They're out of time.
Well,
that's the delay of game. Jack, you called it.
I wish I didn't, but that's the case.
They got a timeout.
And that
so
timeout was due to the fact that they were going to get a 5-yard penalty.
All right, let's step aside. Timeout, we'll let them chat. And we'll be back in a couple. Class 5A state title game.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
Well, he's never expected to throw much, but with those 2 attempts, Simulik has been efficient. Touchdown and 41 yards. As the starting shortstop on the Joliet Catholic baseball team, is just a freshman, won a state championship a couple of years ago.
It's a big swing.
His football coach, Jake Jaworski, says he can do anything. You scouting?
I'll tell you what, I was very impressed with the mechanics of that swing. I'm not a baseball coach, but you can tell when somebody's a good athlete by how they do things like that.
Well, now he's got to deliver on 3rd and 8. Let's see his mechanics here.
Well, they want to get him out on the edge, I would think. If he sits in the pocket, it's going to be very tough. Let's see if they're going to take his athleticism and put him out on the edges to create a bigger play.
Lines up in the shotgun.
Those defensive ends are coming hard for Nazareth.
Farnas in motion. Here's the rollout, so they do get him out of the pocket. He chucks it deep for Armstrong, and he makes a tremendous catch at the 31.
Great catch.
There's a flag down right near that catch.
Yeah, it's going to be interference, but they're going to get the catch. That was a heck of a play by him. You know, I thought that they'd be sprinting now with him to give him a better opportunity to get on the edge, which they did. But what a great catch.
It's a pass interference against Nazareth. Penalty declined. 37-yard connection from Simulik to Jaden Armstrong.
There's the sprint. Gets his feet underneath him and kind of almost shot puts it up. But what a great catch right there. You talk about great concentration.
The longest pass play of the season for a team that rarely throws the ball.
And this is a big stop right here for Nazareth. You know, only giving them about 2 yards. This is 4 down territory for Joliet Catholic. But what a great effort right there. He gets shoved, basically. The interference was right there shoving him, but what great concentration to be able to catch that football.
How about this for an outfit? It's all pink and it looks very warm.
Look at a pink shirt on and a pink tie, but I don't think it matches
Love
that
to
out.
see you in that hat. Oh, I'd pay for it. Here goes McGreeny with a burst to the 20. And it's a big Joliet Catholic first down.
Well, this is what they like to do. They like to run that power. They get people out in front of him. The offensive line does a nice job, and they lead up with either a back or a lineman. They're tough to bring down. 210-pound running back.
Hilltoppers are in the red zone, and McGreeny goes deep into it. Out to the 8. 2 consecutive first downs.
And again, that offensive line and the lead block by the fullback set that up, and just a power run by a 210-pound, 6'1" senior running back. He started last year for him in the title game. Actually, he was a backup, but he got a lot of playing time during the year, so I consider some of those kids as starters. He's a veteran.
100 yards on the ground for the Hilltoppers. And here goes Stringham on some misdirection. He chugs to the 2. They're knocking on the door of the end zone. Last time we saw them down here, fumbled a snap after Simulik was bumped into by one of his linemen.
Now, you just saw the play that got Joliet Catholic here and that they've been running for the last 15, 20 years is the wingback counters with power. They do a great job with it.
There's the motion. There's McGreeny. And there is a Hilltopper touchdown.
Good job by that offensive line. You've got to give them credit. Although they're 283 pounds, they still did a nice job on that defensive front of Nazareth. Ahoy, Salik, Jekovic, Lynch, and Jurachik. Big offensive line, but what a surge right there. But a nice job of running, getting the football up in there. They do such a good job with that wing T when they run and/or the power football, getting linemen out, pulling guards, and getting the fullback out in front of them.
A beauty of a 9-play drive, capped off by the 2-yard McGreeny score. DeNovo makes it official. And this game is competitive. Jake Jaworski said last year's title game loss left a brutal taste in the mouths of the Hilltoppers. It fueled their offseason, and in the rematch, they're in it.
Well, you saw power football right there. Getting the lineman out in front, the fullback out in front, and into the end zone with a good surge by that offensive line.
How about the offenses today, too? In a wind chill of 10 degrees, we have 5 combined touchdowns in 6 possessions.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're looking at, as we talked about in the open, 2 teams that have played really tough schedules. And when you play tough schedules, that kind of toughens you up for the playoffs. And oftentimes people say, well, you know, they're undefeated. Well, why are they undefeated? Look at their schedule. They really don't play a lot of tough teams, and then look at the scores. But you look at these 2 teams and you look at their schedules and look at the scores. They had no cakewalk during the regular season. They did in the playoffs to get here, but not during the regular season.
Little pooch kick fielded by Penley. This is an elusive, dynamic athlete, and James Penley is to the 40, but there was a flag right behind him. And another flag comes in as the teams were jawing at each other right in front of the Joliet Catholic sideline. So a lot to sort out for Chris Head and the officiating crew.
This is the type of game that you cannot afford to get penalties, and certainly not big penalties of 15 yards with unsportsmanlike conduct. Those are the ones that will kill you. A 5-yard penalty, you don't like it, but you don't want the 15-yarders.
Block in the back. Kicking team.
So block in the back
this is going to be
on Joliet. And an unsportsmanlike. So Penley gets called for the unsportsmanlike. See him yelling at some of the Hilltoppers. And confirm, yeah, blocking the back is on the receiving team. You wouldn't see that on the kicking team. So a double dose of penalties sets back Nazareth 20 yards. And they go from in Joliet Catholic territory to deep in their own.
Well, certain teams would be dramatically affected by a penalty like this. But the way Nazareth is so explosive, they're not truly affected that much. This
We
is
just saw
certainly
them
an
pull
advantage
off
to Joliet Catholic.
a 99-play drive, to your point.
Right, exactly.
Cheerleaders are bundled. Feels like temp is 9. Touchdowns popping off in the Class 5A state title game. Malachuk back into the shotgun, back to work. And over to the far sideline, it's caught by Sesto. Little game.
Now, when you throw those routes, those are timing routes, and it takes an awful lot of practice. You know, it's a different situation when you're just throwing a vertical down the field and hoping that you get it there and he runs under it. But when you're throwing those out routes, there's a lot of timing involved. It has to be a great route by the receiver, but it's got to be a good throw by the quarterback.
Malachuk full of good throws today. 8 completions. And here's almost his 9th, but dropped by Walker.
And that's crucial. The point you just said, dropped. It wasn't as if the ball was overthrown, underthrown. It was dropped.
And Walker's had a nice day with 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he does have 2 drops. Gotta have that.
Well, it's a good throw because he's inside the defender. You want to make sure your body is inside of him with that slant route, and he put the ball right on the money.
Nazareth is 2 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. This is a 3rd and 3.
They're really spreading them out.
And rolling out to his left, Malachuk floats it to Sestone for a beautiful first down.
Unbelievable throw to be able to sprint to your right, or excuse me, your left as a right-handed quarterback and put that ball right on the money like that. That was an amazing throw.
23 yards to the 50, and it looks so pretty.
You can see, I mean, he's getting pressure. That's a tough throw to throw it right in that gap there in front of the corner and outside of that linebacker.
Malachuk ripping the ball all over the field, knocking on 200 yards. From the 50, here he goes, airing it out again, but well past Sestone.
Now, if you look at the flag, you can see why that was overthrown. We've really got Gus right there, and he had the wind to his back right there. That's tough for a quarterback to time that up when you've got a strong wind to your back. It's actually easier to throw into the wind than it is with the wind for a quarterback.
Why is that?
Well, because the ball's going to sail. I mean, it's just, he probably in a regular situation with no wind, that ball would have been right on the money, but it just took off, especially when you're running the deep routes. It doesn't affect that much when they're like 15-yard or 10-yard routes, but the deep routes are affected by the wind.
And the wind is howling today, 20 miles an hour, as Malachuk gets sacked. Big Joliet stop, Nico Ronchetti with the sack.
Good coverage downfield. He never got to his next read, which was the back out in the flat, because he was wide. Let me repeat it, wide open.
Only saving grace is this was a loss of just 2. Ronchetti with the wrap-up, and a 3rd and 12 for Nazareth.
With his athleticism, he doesn't get a lot of sacks. He might have some incompletions, and he'll throw the ball because he's a smart quarterback. He'll throw a ball incompletion, throw it out of bounds, but he usually does not rarely get sacked.
And Nazareth calls timeout before a 3rd and long. Well, we've seen a lot today from Trenton Walker with 102 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Nicole down on the field has more on number 8.
Yeah, Trenton Walker has been impressive to start off this game. You mentioned his 102 yards, 2 touchdowns at 74-yarder to kick things off was very impressive. But they have a bunch of weapons here in their wide receiving core, and we've seen it all day as they have been dominating in the passing game. Coach Iraqi talked to us earlier this week, who used to be a defensive coordinator himself. He told me that this receiving core would keep him up at night as a defensive coordinator, trying to figure out how to cover all their threats in the passing game. Of course, it starts with that running game and that offensive line, too. They have to load the box up against them to take away from those running threats, which opens up that receiving core, guys.
Thanks, Nicole. Great insight. Good thing for Tim Brackey is he doesn't have to stay up at night. He can sleep easy because these guys are on his team.
Well, they really, formation-wise, give you a lot of problems, secondary-wise.
Malachuk is 3 of 3 on 3rd downs throwing, but this one sails to his sideline.
Good coverage by the secondary of Joliet Catholic. They're taking away the deep routes and making him go under, and the linebackers are dropping out. I'm surprised so far that Malachuk hasn't run. He ran, scrambled in the first quarter up the middle because the linebackers dropped out to the flats and had a big run. But the key to this so far has been that defensive line has been putting pressure on him, but containing him on the outside where he hasn't been able to scramble.
They contain him there. Hey, last time we saw the punting unit for Nazareth, it was a fake in their own end zone. So Hilltoppers have to be on high alert.
I think they made that adjustment.
First punt of the game for either team is a booming one that's fielded at the 6. And then Nazareth swallows up the deep man. So nothing for Zach Beitler. And 3-11 for Joliet Catholic to get something before halftime. Well, yesterday featured an average margin of victory of 41 points. Probably the most impressive was Chicago Christian in the 2A.
Very impressive, but also in that first game with Althoff Catholic, we saw all kinds of records set. You know, those scores are not indicative in that 1A and 2A games of the individual efforts that were made by several players.
Dier Hill Jr. with 518 total yards and a state championship record 7 touchdowns.
And that was by one player.
Halfway to 1,000.
Right, not by the team. That's amazing.
Unbelievable. And the man accounted for 51 points by himself. So we can say Dier Hill Jr. 51, Lena Winslow 14.
There you go.
A blowout. Back to the ground, and Stringham just keeps those legs moving to the 19. And he got a first down on a play that started as nothing.
Now, we talked about the quarterback coming over to the coach. Years ago, the coach would go out to the numbers, which kind of cut down on the amount of time it took you to get back to the huddle, but they really clamped down on the coaches doing that and made them stay on the sidelines on the white paint.
Now Simulik's got to really get his steps in. And now a deep drop. Looking for Brammer. He had nothing. It's the first incompletion of the day for the quarterback, Simulik.
A lot of pressure there.
Yeah, the man completely unblocked here. Garrett Reese, the defensive back bound for Indiana, just comes flying in.
Well, whenever you're going to run a screen, which they wanted to do out there, you can see the linemen getting over there. They release, those linemen sometimes release too soon. And when there's a stunt coming from the linebacker, they're not anticipating that, so they're not even looking to pick him up. And the back is not there to pick him up because he's getting out on the screen.
2nd and 10. McGreeny, again, keep the feet moving. Again, first down.
What an effort.
McGreeny's at 70 yards. And now to Stringham. You just go McGreeny, Stringham, McGreeny, Stringham, and a pile drive almost to the 50.
Well, this is where they really need to have a little more of a passing game because, you know, they got 1 minute and 40 left, but, you know, you can get 8-10 yards a crack, but it's still going to eat up the clock. And the clock is moving. So there's a lot of transition between a quarterback going over to the sideline to get the play and getting back up to call the play, especially with a team that doesn't throw the ball that much.
It's been a good drive, but it takes a ton of time. Okay, they're listening to you. It's a pass, and it's an interception. Anthony Donato on the pick. That's Wellner. Dylan Wellner was who came flying in to pick it off.
Kind of a tough decision to make for the quarterback. He was trying to make a play. Obviously, it didn't turn out to be a very good play, but he's trying to make something happen here. He lost the tight end who went back. He thought he was going to go towards the sideline, and at the last second, he went back in the other direction, and I think that's what he initially wanted to do, was to throw it to the tight end who was going towards the sideline.
Would you rather him just throw it out?
Yeah, that's what he would have to do because they had a nice drive going.
Huge mistake. And remember, Nazareth can strike quick. On that note, Sestone is out to the 25.
Great throw, putting it right on the money.
And 1:14 for Nazareth. Feels like an eternity.
Boy, this young man is impressive throwing the football. I mean, he's got good receivers to throw it to, but he sits in that pocket.
And now he is swarmed and sacked by Campbell. Campbell's got 2 today.
This is a series that Joliet Catholic needs to make a stop here. They need to go in at halftime with this score and not let Nazareth pick up another one.
Nazareth calls its second timeout. Remember, Nazareth started with the ball, so Joliet Catholic will get it in the third quarter. Campbell's second sack.
Well, he comes from the backside. Good pressure, good quickness. And this is something that they've done all year long. Ian Campbell, 6'3", 230. He runs extremely well. He's only a junior, and he's got a lot of recognition. He was lineman of the year in the Orange Division for the conference, and he was a starter last year, so he's got a lot of experience, and you saw that right there, the quickness that he has.
Well, these are 2 powerhouse programs and a couple of coaches looking to win another state title. They want this treatment. It's freezing, but that doesn't matter when you're a champion. Coaches get doused, trying to avoid it with a 5-degree wind chill. Oof. So Racky and Jaworski, I guess, want that.
Yeah.
2nd and 17 for Malachek.
Oh, double pass.
Walker maybe looking to throw. He'll just kind of cut back and get to the 34. But his eyes were deep.
Joliet Catholic did a nice job right there. They didn't fall for it. You know, we talked about keys and having discipline in the secondary, and that's exactly what Joliet Catholic did there. They could have came up thinking it was a sweep, the safety in the corner, but they didn't. They stayed back on the receivers, and that is what made that play go nowhere.
3rd and 17 now. Here's a big rush. Malachek on the run. As a flag comes in, he throws it out.
I think we're going to get a holding call.
Malachek was running for his life. It's a hold.
Again, he's trying to sprint out to put pressure on the secondary. You can see right there on the backside, right in front, the hold. And that's what happens. Offensive linemen, they're used to, in many cases, for the defensive to come right into his shoulders. But there, he took the angle across his face, and they reach out. It's just an instinct to try and make the play, and that's where you end up getting the holding call.
Still want to see you in this hat.
Well, he might be gone by the time I get down there to ask him about it.
Worth noting, by the way, that hold, it was on the sub for Nazareth, Carson Ryan, who came on to replace the injured Luke Njayachuk. And how about this, on 4th and 17?
You got people open right there.
They'll go for it. And Malachek just dumps it off to Calhoun. To the 35, we'll have a change of possession. So it's almost like a 5-yard punt.
I'll tell you what, there's adjustments that Joliet Catholic's got to make because Nazareth is giving them so many different looks offensively as far as formations. It's really tough for Joliet Catholic to match up. I mean, they have to get their linebackers out there to help on those formations. And we've got a Nazareth player down.
Yeah, Eddie McLean Jr., their speedster running back, grabbing his right leg.
And he hasn't carried the ball but just a handful of times in this first half. In many cases, their running back is also a big receiver for them coming out of the backfield. He's like their third read because the people downfield, the first and second, if they're not taken, they'll dump it out to him in the flat. And he's been open several times out in the flat, but the pressure from Joliet Catholic has not allowed Malachek to go to that read and look back because he's got to look down the field and get rid of it or he's sacked.
McLean has one catch today, been targeted twice. Able to walk off. Interesting decision. 4th and 17, Nazareth went for it. A little screen pass. Thoughts?
No, I mean, that's a good call because they figured Joliet Catholic doesn't throw the ball that much. So let's get into halftime, make some adjustments.
Hard for them to score in 16 seconds. Here's Stringham bursting through. Stringham with a surge to the 45. So he says not so fast. Timeout Joliet Catholic and another injured Roadrunner. Man down for Nazareth is Trenton Walker. That would be bad news if it's serious.
Those are adjustments you're going to see at halftime with Joliet coming back to those particular plays in the running game, because I'm sure the coaches up here in the press box are jotting down the successful plays that went against Nazareth's defense, and they've had a couple of them as far as the run game is concerned. And a part of that is patience. With Joliet Catholic's offense, you've got to have patience. You can see right here those big offensive line getting out in front of them. How many times do you see 280-pounders running down the field like that, stalking a defensive back to block?
In the first half, 169 rush yards for this Joliet Catholic offense. Looking to stay warm as Nazareth, they look on with concern for Trenton Walker. Finally able to get up, and that's a great sign. See him grabbing his neck.
I find it interesting, Sam, that both of these teams have played Mount Carmel. Both teams lost to Mount Carmel, who's going to be playing for the 7A state championship.
That game coming at 4 o'clock Central as the Hilltoppers call time.
Now with 10 seconds left, you could see a play-action pass here. Nazareth might think, well, they're just going to run the ball. Well, this would be a good time for a play-action pass. You got nothing to lose. You got a little wind behind you.
Might as well take a shot. It is the last game of the season, after all, and the last game of the season for all these teams. East St. Louis and Geneva in the 6A state championship coming after this one, and you already mentioned Mount Carmel going for the 7A title.
And Batavia, which has had a great year, and of course York, which has been kind of a Cinderella team all year against Loyola Academy, who initially lost their very first game of the year to East St. Louis and then hadn't lost since.
Jake Jaworski inherited a 3-6 program 8 years ago. Since then, he's won 2 state titles, and his offense is back on the field with Stringham into the pile. And clock stops at 5.
Timeout, I think, by Joliet Catholic.
So they'll have one play to go 42 yards for a score.
And they're putting in, it's a personnel change here, putting in some receivers. You can see him loosening up right there. I don't know if that's a dead giveaway or not.
And they'll both go to the huddles. Now, this has been a really even game. Joliet Catholic has run 31 plays, Nazareth 29. Almost identical total yardage. Average of 8 yards for Joliet, 9 yards for Nazareth.
It's kind of interesting how they get it, though. One makes it a little more difficult by running the ball, and Nazareth, of course, throws the ball for that kind of average. But Nazareth has more of an opportunity by the way their offense is run to have the big explosive play. Getting those kids out on the one-on-one coverage down the field, those are going to develop into bigger plays. Joliet Catholic, on the other hand, it's a little tougher to have big explosive plays with the offense that they run.
Well, tough timing for them because all they could do right now is get a big explosive play.
Which they're capable of. And you guys think you might see a play-action pass here. Well, they're coming out in the spread.
Already passes today of 36 and 37.
Nazareth is ready for it, though, with that coverage too deep.
With 5 seconds to halftime, here's a deep heave, and it is intercepted. Nope, it dropped down. Just popped out of the hands of Ben Lukes, and that'll do it for an entertaining first half. Nazareth airing it out. Joliet Catholic, the ground and pound, and in a rematch of last year's title game, got our first razor-thin halftime score of the weekend. In a moment, we'll hear from Tim Rackey down with Nicole Sedevy. Racky, the 9-time state champion, looking for a three-peat, and he is down there with Nicole.
Thanks, guys, Coach. Your passing game has been nearly unstoppable in this first half. Logan Malachuk has 3 touchdowns, nearly 250 yards passing. What's clicking?
Well, the execution, I mean, he's been with these receivers for some 3-4 years, so the timing is impeccable. They really know how to execute. Our running game is doing well, but we just have to start slowing them down offensively. But we knew this was going to be a battle, so this doesn't surprise me where we're at.
Yeah, and speaking about them offensively, their run game is working. They put 14 points up on the board. What do you want to see more out of your defense?
Well, I like to see a little more gang tackling. We got too many guys. Those backs are powerful. They're going to you saw they're carrying the pile. We got to get guys in there going after the ball, and more than even the secondary coming in to stop that pile from moving forward and put it backwards.
Good luck in the second, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, let's toss things over to the Chicago studio, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Nicole. East Suburban Catholic League rivals going at it for a state championship on the line alongside with Edgy Tim O'Halloran. I'm Marshall Harris. What did you think of that first half? Certainly a much tighter contest than we've seen through 4 games.
Are you not entertained? I mean, come on. This is what we were hoping for. We wanted to see a close back-and-forth game. You know you're going to get it between these two. They know each other incredibly well. You see Naz's strength, obviously throwing the ball downfield. JCA, they want a power run the counters, throw it occasionally when it's there. Again, this is going to be going back and forth and back and forth. I think we're in for a great second half.
Roadrunners and Hilltoppers, as he said, 2 different styles of play, but this is not the first time they've met even this season. 16-13 Nazareth Academy, but this has a different feel to it.
Yeah, it does. I haven't seen a ton of adjustments. I think both teams just want to execute, obviously, play clean, and get through it with minimum mistakes, and that creates great football.
All right, we'll talk more about this, show you the highlights. Halftime coming up right here on the IHSA television network.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know, from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
All right, let's go. I'll strap for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself,
Don't forget toys for the dog.
rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
Halftime of the 5A state title game, Nazareth Academy with a narrow lead, 21-14 over Joliet Catholic Academy. And Edgy, it was a tight game, but it could have been even tighter if things had gone a little bit differently for the Roadrunners and the Hilltoppers. What did you like about what you saw from these two teams in this one?
Again, sticking to their strengths. What they do well is what they did well. They obviously, JCA running the power run, able to move the ball when they need to, and then Naz, again, just throwing the ball all over the field. So, again, just really impressive.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights and show you exactly what happened, how this one went down. Early first quarter, Nazareth's got the ball on their own 26. Logan Malachuk, emphasis last name, last syllable. He chucks it down the field and finds Trenton Walker.
Yeah, now you know what they do really well, and that's it. Deep ball, no question.
All right, so 7-0 at that point, but here comes JC tying it up. That's Keegan Farnes from Lucas Similik off the play action, ties it up at 7.
Again, the run game sets that up. You can't go to it too much, but you can go to it just enough if needed.
Now Naz Academy up 14-7. Malachuk again, this time James Penley, more of the same, 21-7 at this point.
You go back and watch that on film as a defensive guy, you couldn't ask for better coverage. That was just a great pitch and catch.
Again, 241 yards passing for Logan Malachuk. That's more yardage than we saw from any quarterback in an entire game on day one. It's been a game that's been controlled clearly by Nazareth Academy, but Joliet Catholic had their chances in this game.
They're hanging around, and that's what they do, and that's what they did last year. If you remember last year in the title game, you had a young man, a running back, H.G. Grigsby, who really carried the load for JCA. Unfortunately, he was injured halfway through that game. I say if this running game stays intact, I think they're going to hang around Marshall for 4 quarters. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This game is far, far from over.
And we mentioned the Hilltoppers. They had their chances. This might be a tie game, or they could be up. If you look at what happened, they had a chance on the goal line to kind of punch things up, keep pace, if you will, but fumbling on 4th and goal. And then it's what happened after that that made this so much more interesting, because after getting a stop, looked like a 3-and-out. Other ideas, though, for the Nazareth Academy Roadrunners.
Well, again, we talk all phases, and again, this is just a really heads-up play by the punter. Saw the end pulled in. He just takes it, gets out of trouble, gets the first down, and keeps the drive alive.
Frankie Nichols getting the job done on that read. Looking at the second half now, if you're Joliet Academy, what has to change to make things different in the second half?
Again, play great coverage, obviously. Try to continue to just get in the way and knock away the passes from the receivers, from Naz. And then offensively, you just got to execute. You have to do that. You have to take this second half kickoff, drive the field, and score. And Marshall, you're setting a tone when you do that. JCA needs to reset that tone with this first drive.
Surprised at all at how high scoring this game is compared to that 16-13 matchup earlier this season?
No, not really, because let's face it. I mean, look at Naz. Look at the experience they have. Logan Malachuk, 4-year varsity starter, trying to go his 3rd straight state title. That's experience, and that's road miles on both sides. So, no, not surprised at all.
Nazareth Academy has already made it back-to-back. They're trying to make it 3-time state champions and running. We'll see what happens on the other side. More halftime on the way.
Remarkable women from across the country.
I'm just a survivor that's not going to give up.
Help shine the light on their incredible stories.
I didn't survive to sit on my story.
125 trailblazers will be honored and could win $25,000 for the nonprofit of their choice, plus a trip of a lifetime.
This doesn't happen in my life very often.
Nominations open through December 20th.
Go to WCIA.com/remarkablewomen, sponsored by SEFQ, not a bank. Better.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Dear Santa, I hope you are having a good day in the North Pole. Is it cold all the time there? Is that why our teachers are so rosy? My mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. Was my chimney broken? I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too. Wow.
Donate and help the Marines deliver hope to a child in need.
Halftime in the 5A state title game right now, it's Nazareth Academy with a 21-14 lead over Joliet Catholic Academy. And looking at the way things have gone for this game, it's interesting to see that this might be an indication that all of today's games might be just a little more tightly contested.
We've earned it, right? Haven't we earned it
think
after
so.
yesterday? I think
no
we all
running
have.
clock.
No, so we definitely have earned this. And again, just excited to see how the rest of this day falls out. Marshall, I'm telling you, I am pumped about the next game as well. East St. Louis and Geneva, all gas, no brakes versus a lot of gas and very little brakes. It's going to be a really interesting matchup between two very similar offenses. I'm looking forward to that one.
And, of course, East St. Louis, a team that was in the title game last year but came up short. The other two games feature, just like this one, two teams trying to defend their state championships. When you talk about the matchups between York and Loyola, and of course Batavia also on the way, what do you like the most about those matchups?
Batavia, Mount Carmel, as I mentioned, they don't like each other very much. They just don't. They don't like each other. There's history there. There's bad blood there. It's okay. We'll get through it. But trust me, we'll be here for you. York, that program that's climbing that hill, and can they finally get over it? And this is the king of the mountain waiting for you at the top. That's what I'm looking forward to see.
But back to this game, the one that's ahead of us, the Hilltoppers and the Roadrunners. Again, 21-14, but as you pointed out, Joliet Catholic, they will have the ball to start the second half. How important is that drive?
Huge, absolutely huge. You have to set the tone now.
All right, we'll see if they can do that. In the meantime, you know who's going to be chucking that ball around. That's right, Logan Malachuk will continue to try to find guys like he did with Trenton Walker on this 16-yard score. More at halftime after this quick timeout.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you could know from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
We are back with the Menards halftime stats. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And you want to talk about contrast and compare. Yep. Something they have in common. 12 first downs, 11 first downs. That's not too uncommon. But then you look at the rushing yards versus the passing yards. The Hilltoppers, 170 rushing yards. Meanwhile, the Roadrunners, 241 passing yards.
And time of possession, if you're Joliet Catholic, you're winning this game in your mind because you are controlling the time of possession, which means you're also limiting the amount of touches that Naz is getting. You definitely want to continue that trend in the second half.
Nazareth Academy, not just that, but also the fact that they are +1 in the turnover war. That might be crucial down the stretch.
You have to win that. There's no question. If you don't win that, you won't be holding a big, big trophy at the end.
All right, so Nazareth Academy, again, a half away from securing a third straight state championship. and they can do it by beating the same Joliet Catholic team that they did a year ago. Meanwhile, this is one of the reasons that Joliet Catholic's still in this game. Their quarterback says, we can pass it too. There you have Lucas Similik finding Keegan Fargas. We're back in a flash.
Hi.
Hello. What's the nicest thing a parent has said to you?
That you're special. I love you. I love you.
What about your teachers?
Like, I'm proud of you and I'm glad that you tried. That was a really good job. That was really impressive.
Make me smile.
You can do great things.
How did that make you feel?
Happy. Better about myself. Special.
I think that really helps my confidence.
It makes me just feel good.
Let's teach more love in our homes and classrooms. Visit parenting.org from Boys Town to explore our vast library of resources backed by over 100 years of experience.
Why is it important to tell somebody when they've done something good?
Because it makes you just want to keep going and be nice to other people.
For any age, any stage. Boys Town.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Welcome back to the Class 5A state title game. We're about to kick off the second half, but first I am standing by with JCA head coach Jake Jaworski. Coach, you guys offensively put 14 points up. What do you guys get the ball to start the second half here? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, big start to the half here, us getting the ball. We guys got to take care of business. Got to keep running hard. Got to sustain blocks, and most importantly, take care of the football and finish in the end zone.
And Nazareth's passing game has been pretty lethal in the first half. What changes are you making defensively to stop them?
Yeah, we got to be a little bit more physical on their receivers. Got to try to stick to them a little bit, and just kind of play fast, play physical.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Sam and Jack, take it away.
Play fast, play physical. That's the message from Jake Jaworski. And back up here in the booth, we're looking at a real clashing of styles. The rushing of Joliet Catholic, the aerial passing game of Nazareth. And so far, that's all we've seen. Let's start with the Joliet run game. How have they gotten it done?
Well, they do a great job up front. That offensive line is outstanding. But as you saw, the running backs are just tough. And, they average, they're 210-pounders. They run really hard. Great leg drive. You can see right now the misdirection. They're not the kind of backs that are going to break 70 and 80-yarders, but they're certainly going to pick up 10 and 15 yards for them. They run extremely hard. You're not going to bring them down with an arm tap.
And 2 touchdowns for Joliet Catholic. One of them was actually through the air. Hey, speaking of passing game, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns for the senior Logan Malichik. He's on it today.
Aerial circus. I mean, as Coach mentioned, they have been with each other 3 or 4 years. They have great timing and everything else. They're just an outstanding throwing football team. They got great receivers, and the quarterback is very experienced.
He's already won 2 state titles. If he wins another today, he'll three-peat with Nazareth. It's a rematch of last year's title game, which was 38-20, and Nazareth win to make it back-to-back. Jake Jaworski told us we had such a bitter taste in our mouths. That loss fueled our offseason. They got another crack at Nazareth in September, and they lost again, 16-13.
Well, that was a close ball game. It's hard to tell exactly what generated that. There could have been a penalty in a big situation, a lot of different things. When you have a ball game that close, you can't really say who is the better team. Now, if it's a 30-point win or whatever, you can say, well, you know, they've got a little better team and they can do some things better than we can. But when it's only a 3-point game, you know, you're pretty well balanced right there.
A bunch of blowouts yesterday. We finally have a competitive game. Fielded by Stringham at the 22. And the All-State running back surges to the 40. Well, we know we have a competitive game, and we've had some big plays in the game. Joliet Catholic, 5 plays of 10 or more yards in the first half. Nazareth, 4 plays of 20 or more yards.
Well, in that second quarter alone, it was pretty well balanced. Both teams scored 7 points, but then total yardage, Joliet Catholic had 139 yards and Nazareth had 140. Time of possession, Joliet Catholic had 6:18 and Nazareth had 5:42. But the difference was Joliet Catholic had 1 penalty in that second quarter and Nazareth had 5.
Stringham a burst to the 47. It'll set up a second and short, gain of 8. You saw Tim Rackey in the ear of the official. There was some extracurricular activity near where the ball was kicked.
You know, I can guarantee you both these teams are pretty well disciplined. And it's not something those coaches will put up with, nor have they suggested any of that. Sometimes the kids just get carried away.
Easy to get carried away in a state title game as Bremer, the fullback, gets close but not quite to the line to gain. So 3rd and 1 is next.
Well, you can see the official right there talking to him. And this is what I like about outstanding crew. They're telling them to calm down or you're going to get a flag and or get thrown out. And this is exactly how you control a football game. These coaches talk to the kids and those officials talk to the kids. I mean, that is great officiating. Right there that you saw that official talking to that player.
Head referee is Chris Head. Here's a 3rd and 1. And it's Stringham easily picking it up with a dive to the 46.
This is what we're going to see through this whole drive and this whole second half. Joliet Catholic trying to control those chains and that clock because they want to keep Nazareth off the field because they're just too explosive.
And 3rd down is crucial. Joliet Catholic 4 of 5 on 3rd down conversions.
And once Joliet Catholic gets inside that 50, it's 4-down territory basically for them.
Well, here we are inside the 50, 4-down territory. And on a misdirection play, McGreeny lost it. He coughed up the football. Nazareth's got it. It's a crucial, back-breaking Joliet Catholic turnover. And the All-State linebacker, Gabe Kaminsky, has it.
Well, just a great effort as far as running the football, and sometimes that's happening. Coach talked about a little more gang tackling, get to the football, and that's what happened there. You spin them around, and these are some tough football players. Most of these kids have been playing since 6th or 5th grade. You can see a good second effort there, but that was a good pop. Put the helmet right on the ball, put it right on the turf, and Nazareth comes up with a big, big turnover.
And it's 2 of their best players who team up for it. Indiana-bound Garrett Reese punched it out. Stanford-bound Gabe Kaminsky pounced on it. And the second Joliet Catholic fumble of the day. Now Joliet Catholic says they have the ball. Was there a fumble there from Calhoun? Not so fast. And Nazareth stays with it. But a lot of the Hilltopper sideline was leaping at the officials saying, we got it. What happens at the end here?
I think once he was down, the ball might have came loose, but he was already down.
So the Hilltoppers saying, our ball, not so much. It's 2nd and 11 for Nazareth. Malachek to Donato, who's had a nice little day. And he skirts his way to the 43. So 3rd and medium.
That's the play I've been talking about as far as getting the back out in the flat. He's basically a running back / wide receiver because they like to go to him. There's a good shot of the fumble. The ball was on the ground, but he was already down by the time it came loose. But the adjustment I think Nazareth might have made was I made those comments in the first half as far as that back, the third read being out in the flat, being kind of open. And that might be something they're going to start looking at, is the back coming out in the flat.
So on a 3rd and 6, let's see if Nazareth can take advantage of the fumble. And Malachek goes with a strike that falls at the feet of Penley. So it looks like a Roadrunner punt.
Big stop, Sanford, right here for Joliet Catholic after that turnover, forcing Nazareth to punt. I think Nazareth's got the feeling that Joliet Catholic is coming out, and they're going to be a little different in the second half as opposed to how they were in that first half. They're going to control that football. They can get it without putting it on the ground, obviously, but control that clock, the chains, and the ball and the time.
Frankie Nichols' first punt went for 43 yards. And this is another boomer down to the 20. And not much of a return. Out to about the 24 goes Zach Beitler. So Nazareth unable to do anything with a fumble. A touchdown to tie it. Joliet Catholic on offense when we come back.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Well, today, the Nazareth Academy Roadrunners are looking to accomplish a three-peat. State champions of Illinois in 2022, 2023, and we'll see about 24. This was an instant classic, 45-44 win over Peoria a couple of years ago down in Champaign to win the first. And then against Joliet Catholic last year, put up 38 points to win back-to-back state titles right here in Normal. Let's see, Jack, if they can make it a three-peat.
Well, what's interesting about that graphic is that in 2022, Nazareth started out the season 2-4. 2-4. Nobody ever thought that they were going to even get into playoffs, and they ended up 10-4 with a state championship. So that was a heck of a season for them.
Now Joliet Catholic looking to tie as McGreeny goes for 2 yards. So he gets the first carry of the drive after coughing it up on the Hilltoppers' last drive.
Well, he coughed it up on an outstanding effort. And so the coaches aren't sour on him carrying the football. It's just the fact that, during the season he carried the football 167 times, so you don't go sour because of one turnover.
No reason to be sour. 12 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown just today. And back to McGreeny. This time he's engulfed in the backfield. No gain. And Joliet Catholic's got to deal with 3rd and long.
They're not a 3rd and long team. And being in this situation as far as field position, they're going to have to punt the ball if they don't get anything out of this. And Nazareth's going to end up with good field position. A game like this with two teams that are so equal in so many ways, even though they're different as far as run and throw offenses, the field position is crucial. And if Nazareth holds them here and Joliet's forced to punt, they're going to end up with good field position.
So big 3rd and 8. Simulik gonna throw. He doesn't do this much. Evades one tackler and can't quite get it to McGreeny. Wonderful coverage there. Henry Sakalis tipped it away. And here's a punt.
And that coverage was outstanding because there's a perfect example. We talked about secondary patience and secondary having great discipline. Even though the quarterback is scrambling, they stayed with the receiver. Really an outstanding play right there.
How about the block two? Connor Ahoy on the All-State linebacker Kaminsky. Ooh.
Oh, big bounce.
Now here's the punt. The first of the day for Joliet Catholic goes down to the 24. A tremendous flipping of the field by the Joliet Catholic punter Nick Bueno. Look at the Nazareth offense and Malachek on the other side.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Our defensive play of the game is brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. And on a rare throw from Lucas Simulik, Dylan Wellner swept in the interception. That's our defensive play of the game.
Interesting. Kind of he threw that. He was hoping the tight end was going to keep coming across, and he planted his foot and went back in the other direction. When you do that, you play what we call a scramble drill. When the quarterback has to scramble, you change everything. If you were the shallow man, you go deep. If the deep guy comes back, anybody on the other side comes across. There's all kinds of things you do on the scramble route when the quarterback is scrambling in the backfield.
So back to the Nazareth offense. Had a hot start, a little cooler as of late, and Donato shuffles his feet to the 25. First three Nazareth possessions, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Since then, 2 punts, turnover on downs.
It's interesting. The last couple possessions, Nazareth has started out with the run as opposed to the pass. And kind of interesting for a team that loves to throw the ball and is so darn effective doing it. Again, they want to get those linebackers that come up and not get in those drop zones where those routes are being thrown.
Out of the gun, the All-State quarterback airs it out deep for Walker, and he dives but can't hold on to it. Would have been a highlight.
They kind of like that matchup. They've gone to him about 3 or 4 different times coming back to the short side of the field. They put trips to the wide side, which is 3 receivers, and they come back down to the single coverage because they're getting man. And the other thing is, by doing that, the safety is over towards the 3 receiver side, so he cannot help the corner. It ends up being a one-on-one matchup.
Malachek was golden to start, 9 of 12. But since then, just 4 for 8 through the air. On 3rd and 10, he goes to the left side, and Walker snares it. Great bullet throw, better catch, first down.
Nice route right there, coming back into the passing lane in behind the linebackers. They do a great job, those receivers, of reading the linebackers and finding the dead zones in behind them. They try to get under the safety and behind the linebackers.
Gain of 20. On Walker's 4th catch, we saw him pull up Gimpy, got hurt at the end of the second quarter. Looks like he's fine. That's great news for Nazareth. Here comes a blitz and a throw to Penley in the flat. He eludes a few tacklers and streaking down the sideline into the red zone. James Penley with a massive gain.
Well, you get a one-on-one as far as tackling in the open field. That's a tough guy to bring down, and obviously they weren't able to do that. Look at the yardage you end up with after that catch.
37 yards, and at least 30 after the catch.
Two guys miss him. Turns on the speed right there, right down the sideline.
So on first down, another run, and Donato again is stuffed. Just thrown down.
Joliet Catholic's doing a good job stopping the run. They're having a little trouble stopping the pass, but you can't blame them. You're talking about a combination of three outstanding wide receivers and a quarterback that's been starting for 4 years and has been in the state championship game 3 times. So you're talking about an awful lot of experience, an awful lot of poise sitting in that backfield. You look at his mechanics are outstanding.
And his coach says he's extremely smart, maybe his best asset. As the quarterback, Malachuk is inhaled in the backfield. Kingston Dunnigan with the 3rd Joliet Catholic sack.
Pressure right there, and that's what they need to do is to get Malachuk kind of getting out of the pocket. You could see him right there. Nobody's open deep, and they're in a position right now where they can use that end zone as your 12th defender. It's kind of in a limbo scenario here. It's deep enough to go vertical, but not far enough to use that end zone as a backup defender.
2 huge plays in a row for Kingston Dunnigan, the junior D-end. On 3rd and 16, Malachuk finds his man. What a play! And down to the 1, Garrett Reese.
You know what impresses me, Sam, is how these receivers run after the catch. We call it rack, run after the catch. A lot of times there's, what we call possession receivers. They'll run a 10-yard route, a good route, but after they make the catch, they're either out of bounds or they go down. Nazareth has got 3 receivers after they make the catch. Who knows where they're going? They got great speed and great moves.
Tim Rackey's got great tools at his disposal. First and goal at the 1. It's a throw to Walker. That's broken up. Mikey Brow on the coverage.
Really good coverage. That's a tough pass to defend because as you line up, you're on the outside shoulder, and he just has that inside slant route. And a lot of times they'll read it. We got a flag down, which could be very, very crucial here. It's going to be against Nazareth.
It's their 8th penalty.
Now, again, this isn't a backbreaker for Nazareth, but Joliet Catholic here will use the end zone as their 12th defender because you can only go so deep when you're down this far. So you'll see a lot of crossing routes, a lot of one-on-ones here. You see how far the wide receiver is here.
After a call for a lineman downfield, first and goal at the 6. And a touchdown, Gabe Kaminsky on a strike from Malachuk to give the Roadrunners a little cushion.
Just a quick throw right there. I mean, the ball was thrown. As soon as he got the ball from the center, the ball was delivered because they only had about 6 yards to go, and he was right in a tight slot. You can see the delivery right there. Nobody had him. The outside linebacker was out too far. He went right in the seam. Good route, good design by the coaches. Really nice delivery.
Both Kaminsky and Malachuk have been starters since freshman year, trying to become 3-time state champs. And here's a fake on the extra point. Frankie Nichols with a little dump, and it's caught in the back corner of the end zone by Sakalis. A trick job on a 2-point conversion, and Frankie Nichols has engineered them both.
And it wasn't as if there wasn't good coverage there. I mean, Joliet Catholic did a nice job of defending it. See right there, he's good coverage getting out on top of him, but what happens is he just dumps the ball out there, and you can't say nothing about the coverage.
And that's against their best cornerback, Mikey Brow. So Nichols to Sakalis. And already today, we've got a successful fake punt, a successful fake two-point conversion. Well, Nazareth playing with some moxie as that drive goes 8 plays, 75 yards, 3.5 minutes, and a 15-point lead is the result.
They're emptying out the playbook today. They're not going to take anything home in that playbook. They're going to say we used everything.
Last time they played Joliet Catholic in mid-September, 16 points was enough to win. Today they've got 29, and the offense is crisp.
Well, that was in the 5th game of the regular season. And, of course, most teams get better as they go along, and both of these teams have.
And both coaches admitted they're different teams. It's hard. It's hard to play twice in 1 year. And a totally different ballgame this time as Stringham from the 22 gets out to nearly the 40 and will meet the Joliet Catholic offense once again, featuring right tackle Cam Jurisic, who's got an interesting second sport. Nicole, what do you got?
He does. Well, the senior right tackle fits in on this offensive line, certainly, but he enjoys himself out on the lake, too. He actually won the state championship with JCA's bass fishing team. Look at that. Coach Jaworski was joking around on our calls earlier on this week saying, I want to see a 6'5", 300-pound senior in a boat. Well, there you go. You get to see him, but it's not really bass fishing weather right now, guys. I'm cold down here.
Can bass fish function in this weather?
Well, yeah, if you got something to break the ice with.
True. Maybe the 330-pound offensive lineman can do it.
They're doing ice fishing now, and I wouldn't stand anywhere near him on the ice. It better be pretty darn thick.
Yeah, no thanks. I might be a good ice fishing partner for you.
You might be?
A little better.
Well, that's true.
Not 330.
You're not going to break through.
Okay, here's the 2nd and 9. Joliet Catholic back to their fullback, and Brammer is ripped down by Kaminsky. So a 3rd and long for a team that doesn't like 3rd and long.
They don't like 3rd and long, and are they in a situation yet, do you think, where they might have this as 2-down territory? Depends on what they come up with right here. 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6. If they come up with a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, they might go for it.
It's a 3rd and 7. And Simulik, after getting the play call from his sideline, runs back to his huddle and lines up with 10 on the play clock. Out of the shotgun, the junior quarterback rolling to his right. And it's a laser beam for a 1st down. Jaden Armstrong, his 2nd catch.
Nice route, well-designed play. Get him out on the edge so that if there's nobody open, he can still make a run down the field. You don't want him sitting in the pocket because that's not something they're used to. You can take an athlete, get him out on the edge. You can see how he can throw the ball very efficiently and effectively on the run.
They needed 7. They got 15 and find themselves in Nazareth territory. So Jaworski keeps his quarterback in the gun. And it's a handoff to Farnas, who just picks to the 40. Well, how about the play of Jaden Armstrong? Big wide receiver on the outside has made 2 big-time plays, both helping Joliet Catholic out of tough situations.
Well, and really, it's something they're not used to. He's probably not very used to catching the football. He gets more opportunities to do that just in the drills before the game.
10 catches on the season. $150 for Armstrong. On 2nd and 7, McGreeny with another pile drive run to the 36. And now over 200 rushing yards for Joliet Catholic. Compare that with 93 in the passing game.
You talk about, Sam, you were talking about how many receptions he has, and then you look on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and Joliet Catholic, Nazareth has one receiver with 69 catches, another one with 38, another one with 45. So obviously they kind of spread the ball out.
On 3rd and 4, here's Stringham for the 1st down. Yangel Cologne brought him down, but after a gain of 10.
This is the patience that we talked about. You get a good shot here of looking at Joliet Catholic and how they run that particular offense. They get a lot of people out in front. They got the guard pulling. They got the running back out in front. You get a lot of bodies out on that one linebacker that's supposed to fill, and that back does a great job at getting inside.
Fourth quarter is next.
We explore the heart of living local. Join CI Living as we celebrate the unique spirit of our communities, highlighting the people and stories that make Central Illinois a special place to call home. From delicious recipes and inspiring home projects to interviews with local experts, CI Living brings you the best of our community with your daily dose of local inspiration and connection.
CI Living, sponsored by Stephanie Pratt. Weekday mornings at 8 on X49.
What's something nice a parent or teacher has said to you?
You're special. I love you.
Make me smile.
That's a really good job.
How did that make you feel?
I think that really helps my confidence.
It makes me just feel good.
Let's teach more love in our homes and classrooms. Visit parenting.org from Boys Town to explore our vast library of resources backed by over 100 years of experience. For any age, any stage, Boys Town.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Or visit our website to learn more.
In a matchup between a team gunning for a three-peat and a team looking to extend its lead on the rest of the state for the most ever state championships. It's a two-possession game, ground and pound against aerial assault, as the ground and pound continues for Joliet Catholic, and Larry Stringham is out to the 20.
That was an outstanding run because he lost 2 yards. Good penetration across the line of scrimmage, but just a good effort on his part. Both these running backs are good, solid running backs, both 210 pounds. You don't bring them down with arm tackles, or in many cases don't even bring them down with one defender.
Well over 300 total yards for Joliet Catholic, and feels like half of them are after the first contact. On second down, Stringham again. Plunges to the 15th. He's got 17 carries for nearly 120 now.
Now, in this particular offense, the offensive linemen kind of love this because they get a chance to get out there and run in front of the running backs. And in that particular play, Michael Lynch, 6'5", 300-pounder, was out and leading the attack up the field.
Well, it's pretty much touchdown or bust at this point for Joliet Catholic. And a fake two-point conversion that was successful for Nazareth means you need 2 scores and a 2-point conversion. With a man hopping on his back, McGreeny muscles forward about 3 yards. Nolan Daly, the man on his back.
Nolan Daly going for a ride, and Nolan Daly's no Tiny Tim. I mean, he's 6'4", 225, and he's taking a ride for about 2 or 3 yards. I mean, that could have been a loss right there, but yet good leg drive and good strength right there gets it up the field.
I wouldn't offer him a piggyback ride.
Nor would I.
Time for play 10 of the drive. A 2nd and 7. Here's that wing T motion. And Simulik Quarterback keeper plunges to the 7. Brought down by Reese. And importantly for Nazareth, the clock keeps moving. Under 10 now.
Kind of an interesting play there because he had no intention of throwing the football whatsoever. He was going to run that the whole time. He had 2 linemen out in front of him. One thing they really haven't done, because their offense is really counters and all those type of things, they've never run their bootleg yet.
Is this the part of the field maybe you see it?
No, it's a little too shallow.
3rd and 3. Stringer thrown down. Kaminsky broke through and broke up the play.
Great play right there by Kaminsky.
And now it's a monumental 4th down.
6'3", 235 pounds, you can see right there. And what I like about Kaminsky is he's an academic all-state player. Not only just an all-stater, but he's also an academic all-stater, which to me is really impressive.
He's going to Stanford. You got to get good grades to go to Stanford.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you looked at my transcript, they wouldn't even put me on the bus or the plane.
You can't even get into Palo Alto. Here's a 4th and 6. A throw to Bramer, and he dropped it.
Oh, my.
We had some space in front of him with blockers, but it's a crucial turnover on downs. Oh, that's a backbreaker for a Joliet Catholic team looking to avenge a loss in this same game last year. Big drop. 8:30 to go, and Nazareth takes it back.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
All right, let's go. I'll strut for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself,
Don't forget toys for the dog.
rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards. 12 tackles, 2 for loss today for Gabe Kaminsky, who's been a starting linebacker since his freshman year. Now he's a 2-time state champ, and he will play football and study at Stanford next fall. A football stud and an academic, Gabe Kaminsky.
Very impressive. Give a lot of credit to the coaches at Nazareth that tell their players, look, you got to be doing the work in the classroom also.
And a run to Donato on the first play. Kaminsky, one of a whole host of road runners playing college football next fall. Garrett Reese, the cornerback, he's an Indiana commit. When you win a bunch of state championships, you will churn out college football players. That's what this program has done.
Well, the part of that is the visibility that they get, having a prolonged season. And the other part of that is, when you go to the state championship game, you get 3 or 4 extra weeks of practice that other teams don't get.
A lot of reps here. Little botched handoff, but Malachik able to sneak into completion to Sestone. How about that? The play was totally blown up, and you still get 7 yards. Nicole's got more on Gabe Kaminsky.
Yeah, Gabe Kaminsky, I mean, let's put it simply. He's a stud. He's a two-way player. His credentials speak for themselves. That 4-year starter, 3-year all-conference, 3-year all-state player, 2-time champ. No surprise, he was someone that JCA was heavily focused on in their preparations this week. But he's more than just a stud football player, guys. He's an academic. Get this, he's going to Stanford next year. Coach Racky spoke of his high character, his humility, and his good upbringing. An exciting time for him and the Roadrunners coming up here at the end of the 4th.
Tough classes up there. Here's a 3rd and 3. Malachek down the left sideline, and Walker extended for it, couldn't get it. And that might save Joliet Catholic as they'll get the ball back.
Good throw by Malachek. Put the ball basically on the money. Had it been just about a yard shorter, he would have been out in the open. It would have been a long touchdown run. Almost caught him in stride. A lot of confidence in their passing game.
Well, now you got to be on high alert again. In the second quarter, Nazareth was backed up in their own end zone and pulled out a fake punt successfully.
I don't think it's going to happen here. Oh.
You were right.
Well, you know, when you get these soccer-style kickers, they have the advantage of being able to do that. But the tough part about that is you talk about an athlete to be able to kick the ball on the run.
Oh, a fake of the fake. Reverse psychology in the 5A state title.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care. In person or virtual. We're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum. We can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Country Financial. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today.
6 minutes, 54 seconds separate Nazareth from a three-peat. And today, behind their quarterback, Logan Malachek, 336 and 4 touchdowns. Just been phenomenal. Okay, here's our schedule for the rest of the day. East St. Louis and Geneva coming right after this one. It's Geneva's first appearance ever in the state title game.
First appearance, they got to the semifinals with Gary Oxtetter, their head coach at that time. Geneva had a couple of great years, and that was during the time when you had to win your conference. I mean, there was a lot of teams that were 8-1 and never got into the playoffs in the early goings. So a lot has changed since then.
This might be the last stand for Joliet Catholic if they want any chance to win this game. And to the ground, the bread and butter, it's Larry Stringham for just 3. It feels like if you're going to get back in this game, you need a big play.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
This is not a big play offense.
And it's not a time when your clock is running constantly. It's one thing if you're up on top and that clock is moving, but it's a whole different story when you're down and that clock is moving.
Joliet Catholic not down much. Here's a gain of 5. It's good enough for a first down by Farnos. Over the last few years, Joliet Catholic just so dominant. No program has more Illinois state championships with 15. They've got 2 of them in their last 8 years, but no championships since 2021. Doesn't feel like a long time, but for Hilltopper fans, probably does. Here is McGreeny with Greengrass. He's dragged down by Reese, but a first down.
Well, the record with they're back and forth with Mount Carmel as the 2 teams with the most state appearances and state championships and that type of thing. Interesting that Joliet Catholic has had very great success. Gordy Gillespie took the team to 10 title appearances. Jim Boyder, 3 title appearances. Bob Stone, 6. Danny Sharp, 18. And Jake Jaworski here, 5.
A machine of a program. There's McGreeny for 2. When Jaworski took over the program, they were 3-6. What he's accomplished in the last 8 years, sort of bringing back what guys like Gillespie had started.
Well, their enrollment was also down. That was a factor. It wasn't so much of the football program, but the enrollment dropped dramatically. And that had a lot to do with the football program and some of the other athletics. But then they brought it back up, but the enrollment started surging again.
And so did the state championships. Just a yard on the QB keeper. If they want to win the state championship today, a lot needs to break Joliet Catholic's way in the final 440. And as always, Simulik to the sideline, getting the call, and then going back. This takes time.
Yeah, it does.
3rd and 7. This play's taking forever. Play hasn't even been relayed to Simulik. At 14 seconds, he jogs back out into the huddle at 10. Break the huddle. And only 3 seconds now.
Lose a timeout.
Yeah, got it off. Here's McGreeny plunging through to the 13. It's a lot of time for not much. Now it's 4th down pretty much for the game. The loss in the state title game last year fueled the Joliet Catholic offseason. If they want redemption, they need a first down here. And they're 0 of 2 on 4th down. Here's the timeout.
There's a lot of time on that clock.
So on 4th down, we've seen so much from the running attack. They haven't converted one yet today. Where do you go?
Well, the thing is, right now, I think their running attack has been efficient as far as getting 4 and 5 yards. And not so much throwing the ball to get deep. But part of this is the fact that they take up so much time coming over to get the plays. But I think, personally, their running game has been pretty effective. And they've been running that power game off tackle in either direction with a little misdirection. And I kind of think they might go back to that as opposed to throwing the football. Now, if they do go to throwing the football, they'll be taking the quarterback, getting him out over the side so he has the option to either run or throw. Having him sit in the pocket is not their type of game. It's going to be a play-action pass, if that, and or a sprint out to one direction or the other. So he has the option to run or throw. But again, they have a lot of faith, Sam, in their running game. Their power running game this direction.
And they're averaging 5.5 yards per carry. 5 yards would be good enough for the first down, so we'll see. On a 4th down to save a shot at a state championship. Simulik back there with Stringham.
There's a sprint out.
Looking into the end zone. Farnos hauled it in. Was he in?
Tough call.
No call yet.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him.
They give him a touchdown. The second for Farnos. And the Hilltoppers remain alive.
Good sprint out. He put the ball on the money, but it was actually a great catch right there to get his feet down, but actually to even catch that football. Outstanding reception.
Here's that sprint out you called for. And Farnos, just a beautiful tiptoe. Think he got the left foot in? Let's watch it.
Good job of delivering the football.
It's got it there, and the foot.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Those officials.
So Farnos' second is a 4th quarter touchdown, which is brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities. You still need a 2-point conversion to tie at some point, but they'll delay that for later. For now, an extra point attempt, which is crucial and successful. The sophomore kicker, Vinny DeNovo. So, 1-possession game.
1-possession game against a team that is not shy about taking chances. I mean, if you say, well, Nazareth is going to try and run the clock and run the football, that's not going to happen. they're going to throw the ball. Part of their whole philosophy is they gain yardage throwing the ball. Some teams say, like Joliet Catholic, we run the ball for yardage. Nazareth throws the ball for yardage. And they're very confident in that passing game, as we've seen throughout this entire ball game. Great receivers, an outstanding quarterback. And they're not too concerned about that clock as far as, when you throw the ball, a lot of times people say, well, that clock is continually running. Well, not necessarily. They'll throw some outs and they go for the deep pass.
And they've gone for the deep pass quite a bit today, successfully. 74-yard touchdown on their first drive. Malachuk to Walker. Tim Rackey and Jake Jaworski fighting for a state championship for the second straight season, and they have fought within a yard of each other. Nazareth has gained 368. Joliet Catholic 367, but crucially separated by 8 points. Giving it back to the potent Nazareth offense now. Oh, no one is back. This is a live ball. Anyone could hop on it. And at the 1-yard line, huge tackle for Mikey Brown.
Wow. That almost could have been a safety.
A total breakdown. No one was back there for Nazareth.
They anticipated an onside kick.
Kick it where they ain't. And that time it was deep.
Wow.
No one there.
Yeah, look at him coming from the outside right here. Now, in many cases, the momentum can't carry you into the end zone as far as a safety is concerned, and so that would have been the issue right here. You can see his momentum taking him back, but what a great effort right there defensively.
And almost everyone here from Joliet on their feet. They've got momentum, but still an 8-point deficit. Malachuk to work in his own end zone. A throw that's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Rocco Powell was on it.
Well, we said that Nazareth's not shy about throwing the football. That's what they do, and that's what they do in every situation. They don't care if they're coming out of their end zone or going into yours. They're going to throw the football. Great confidence, but what an effort right there, getting his hands up in the air and batting that down.
And it does stop the clock at 3:30. Malachuk's moment in his own end zone. The senior, two-time state champion. Does he have it in him here? A rollout. Malachuk, a strike.
No.
Intended for Walker, but that's out of bounds. And again, clock stops.
Well, that's part of what you do. I mean, this is your offense, and you're going to live or die with it. And they do a good job of getting Malachuk out on the outside. That's what they want to do in case he needs to run with the football, because he certainly can do that. But right now, they need a first down.
2 plays, 0 yards, 7 seconds only off the board. Ball's at their own 3.
Well, let's think about that play where Mount Carmel was down there, and they had a fumble on the 1-yard line. Excuse me. Geez, I can't think of it.
All good. Timeout for Nazareth. Buy you time.
Joliet Catholic. They're down on the 1-yard line, and their guard runs into the quarterback, and they fumble on the 1-yard line. I mean, what a difference we're looking at right now when you look at the scoreboard.
I mean, they're separated by a yard, by 1 possession on the scoreboard, and that fumble was really at the inch line.
Oh,
the ball was
absolutely.
grazing the paint.
So many different little scenarios that you can look at during the game that bring it down to this situation right here.
And if you're Nazareth, it's 3rd and 10. You're packed up. 0 for 2 on this possession, but I assume you draw another passing play.
Well, they've had people open, and they've done a nice job of making those plays throughout the game. They've been in situations where they've had 3rd and long, and they pick up that first down. These receivers run excellent routes. They know where to go. They know they can read the coverage. And Malachuk does a good job of getting the ball into those people.
Huge 3rd and 10. Malachuk, the 2-time state champ quarterback, with the ball in his hands, He airs it out way deep. He's got Walker, and he just missed him.
Wow.
A tremendous effort for Trenton Walker, but off his fingertips.
We have seen some really exciting, explosive plays by Nazareth today. Unbelievable.
Walker had a step. Malachuk with the throw, and so close.
And this is what Nazareth does. I mean, it's amazing that they have no qualms about coming out of their own end zone and throwing a deep vertical.
And now Frankie Nichols punting in the shadow of the goalpost. It's a little line drive.
Man,
takes a great roll. But to the 47 of Nazareth. 3 minutes, 11 seconds, 47 yards is totally doable.
It's doable, but from my standpoint, they needed to handle that punt right there. I mean, they would have had much better field position. I mean, that's so crucial, especially when you play on turf. And people don't realize the bounce that thing gets. And in many cases, it's the advantage to the punter. I mean, it might hit on the 40 and roll to the next 40 or the next 30. It's amazing. You get a 20-yard roll. But here we go with Joliet Catholic's run game.
Touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. Stringham to work. And with a spin, he's down to the 45.
First down is crucial, and they got a big play right there.
The 20th carry for Stringham and the 50th run for the team.
And again, we're looking at the time coming off the clock.
And now Simulik, the quarterback, is sprinting back out to the huddle. He knows time's ticking.
Almost better having a player take the play in, a wide receiver, a messenger taking it in.
And off McGreeny, his 20th carry is near the first down marker, but a yard shy.
The other part of this is Joliet Catholic does not want to give the ball back to Nazareth. Even, are they going to score? We don't know.
Ooh, McGreany's down on the sideline.
Sure.
Look at this, grabbing his knee. Oh, no.
That's not a good sign.
You were saying?
Well, we don't want Nazareth to get the ball back with too much time, and that's what's going through the mind of Joliet Catholic. But at this point, they can't afford to worry about that. They need to get into the end zone.
Well, they need a yard right now. Here's Farnos, a patient run, and he stretches across for the first down. Under 2 minutes. Clock stops for just a moment. Reset the chains. And there's the quarterback, Simulik, sprinting between the sideline and the huddle. Sideline to huddle to relay the play call. 100 seconds left in the state championship game. This is Stringham patiently carving his way to the 29. At 90 seconds now. Simulik gets the play quick and back into the huddle.
This is a situation where the coaches are thinking about not this play, but the next play. So that take less time for him to come in back and forth in the huddle.
And Stringham surges through. Larry Stringham with a burst to the 10. Sticking to the ground game, where Joliet Catholic has amassed almost 300 yards and now knocking on the door of the end zone. First and goal under a minute. Handoff Stringham again, and the All-State running back dead in his tracks.
Time for a timeout here.
And there it is.
This is
they only have one timeout left now.
Where you got to give the quarterback a couple of plays.
Right, just have him remember the next 2 or 3.
Well, certainly the next 2. Time is of an essence right here.
It feels unsustainable to have your quarterback continually running back and forth with 45 seconds left.
Well, I hate to be critical from a coaching standpoint, but this is what they do, and they do it well. So, without being critical, this is their style, and they've been very successful with it.
And look at the numbers, right? No program in Illinois state history has won more championships than Joliet Catholic. 2 under the direction of Jake Jaworski. It's been 3 years since their last title. In their absence, no one but Nazareth has been taking home the crown. And Nazareth is going for a three-peat today. Now it's up to their defense to surmount a huge stop.
Well, the only other program that is close to the success recently of Nazareth and Joliet Catholic, of course, is later on this afternoon to be Mount Carmel.
Here we go. 2nd and 10 at the 10.
And let's see if it was a two-play huddle here, where after they run a play, they come right back up on the ball and run another play.
They can't get a first down, so it's 2nd and goal. And the handoff to McGreeny. Plunges through. McGreeny's down to the 1.
Get up on the ball, boys.
Simulik running back, getting the play.
30 seconds left.
It's 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line to stay alive in the state championship game.
Fullback.
It's to Bremer, the fullback, and a touchdown in a major moment.
20 seconds left on the clock. Who would have thought? Now we're looking at something very interesting right here.
The 4th quarter touchdown brought to you by SIU Carbondale. And a 2-point conversion now for the game. An 8-play, 47-yard drive, 100% on the ground. Jake Jaworski's got to be happy, but now he's got to hope for a successful 2.
In the first 3 quarters of this game, when you saw Nazareth, the way they were moving the ball, who would have thought that Joliet Catholic would be in this situation?
It was 29-14.
Got a timeout here. Did we or didn't we? No, we didn't.
No timeout. They're going to spot the ball. Everyone stays out there. But
No,
Tim Rackey is over near the goal line. Now he says, yes, I want timeout. Nazareth uses its first of the half. So it was 29-14 Nazareth entering the quarter. But 2 unanswered touchdowns for Joliet Catholic. And here was that final touchdown to the fullback.
Most of the game they've been going off tackle. Now all of a sudden they run the fullback right up the gut. And that's a perfect example of, Nazareth uses the play action. And here what they do is, since they're going off tackle, is linebackers are sliding to the outside, pound the fullback right up the middle. Excellent play call, and what a great job by that offensive line of delivering right off the bat. Hoyt and Salek and Jakovic and Lynch and Jurasic. What a great job up front by those 5. And they've done it through the entire drive. Don't get too much credit, but those are the guys that really sustained that drive.
And how about Joliet Catholic sticking to what they do? Let the quarterback run out the play. You run the ball and do almost nothing else. And it worked. Scored with 20 seconds. And now it's a 2-point conversion to keep their state title dreams alive.
This is a far cry from yesterday with all the different games that we had and the scores that went on.
40-point blowouts all day yesterday.
I think this is a perfect example of what's going to happen today in most of our games.
Buckle up, Illinois. 2-point conversion with a title on the line. Simulik out of the gun. Here's his roll. Here's his throw. Burroughs dropped it. He dropped it. And Nazareth's going to hold on.
Wow.
A three-peat is in the offing for the Roadrunners. Farnos had been so sensational today with the 2 touchdowns. But that's a stinger of a drop.
Well, you got to give Joliet Catholic a lot of credit here. Wow.
He had it. The tie ball game in his hands. Throw was on the money. It's not over yet. Onside kick, of course, coming for Joliet Catholic. And suddenly Tim Rackey's team is 20 seconds from three-peat.
Well, we talked about how that fifth game of the year when they played each other came down to a 16-13 win by Nazareth. You can see how evenly they were paired. And that was in the fifth game of the year, and they come down to the 14th game of the year, and they're still in the same scenario. Two completely different types of offenses, but two extremely well-coached football teams, and the execution of their particular offenses are so well done.
5 points has separated these teams across 2 games this year, and now it's an onside kick to try to save their season. Sophomore Vinny DeNovo will look to deliver it. Everyone knows it's coming. Here we go. It's a high, awkward bounce. Ball is loose. It's a mad dash for the ball. Roadrunners say they have it. Hilltoppers think they do. What do the refs say? A lot to sort out. Oh, it's Nazareth football. James Penley emerged with it in a massive humanity.
You won't get any closer on an onside kick than you'll get on that particular play.
And Tim Rackey and the Nazareth Roadrunners, well, by the skin of all their teeth, about to deliver a 3rd straight title. What an exceptional onside kick, though.
What an exceptional football game. Really a lot of fun to watch. Two really good, outstanding football teams. Well coached, well disciplined, great execution by their particular offenses.
The final knee, a little bit of chirping, and a timeout. Joliet Catholic has called a timeout. We gotta watch this onside kick again as Rackey gets doused. Nazareth's ready to celebrate, but Joliet Catholic called timeout. So get back, boys. Heartbreak.
It's a heartbreaker. In a game like this, you'd almost want to lose by a couple of touchdowns as opposed to losing it the way they did.
The onside kick.
That's a great onside kick with that bounce, and that's what you're looking for. You want that high bounce. You do not want to get there too quickly. You want that second bounce to be nice and high. And the way that's usually coached is there's 2 guys that come in, and they are actually blockers. They take out the receivers of the onside kick, and then you have 2 other players that are going strictly to go for the ball. So everybody's not going for it initially.
Penley emerged with it, and Nazareth, in a thrilling game, will emerge as state champion again. Back to back to back. It's like deja vu again and again and again. The Nazareth Roadrunners, Illinois state champions.
Great game. Outstanding football game by 2 outstanding football teams.
Jake Jaworski goes down to Tim Rackey for the 2nd straight year in this same stadium with these same stakes. And Rackey is now a 10-time state champion.
There's only one guy that's been here as often as he has, and that's Frank Lenti from Mount Carmel. You know, most teams you can't get used to. I was here once, and it's a dream come true, but sometimes people get, I don't want to say it's in a rut, but they get used to it. But if you talk to Tim Rackey, he'll tell you, you never get used to being on this field playing for the state championship.
Well, if you're Nazareth, it's good to be used to winning. 6 state champions all time for Nazareth Academy, and the latest in a thriller.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
Epic Black Friday deals at Menards are back. Pick up this 12-volt cordless drill kit for only $9.99. Get a dual-head LED work light with tripod for just $14.99. Secure big savings on a 4-pack ratchet strap set, now just $4.97. Or snag these giant 54-inch snow tubes for only $9.99 each. Hurry in for best selection. Don't miss out. These deals won't last long.
Save big money at Menards. Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Nazareth Academy state champs for the third straight year. And our player of the game is brought to you by Country Financial. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more. Easy choice. Logan Malachek, 336 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, no picks. It was Malachek today, all about him. And he delivered his third straight title. He is also down with Nicole.
Logan, your passing game was immaculate today. 4 touchdowns for you, 336 yards. What got into you and your receiving core today?
I mean, it's a state championship. What else? What more can you say, or what more can you ask for? But I mean, that just goes to show the practice and the grind that we've put all throughout the season, especially this past week. I mean, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. JCA, great team, probably hardest test we've had all year, and our offense, we connected on so many cylinders, and we played an awesome game.
I can see the emotion in you. You have the tears coming down your cheeks. A special moment for you. You're a senior. You're walking off the field as a senior for the last time, a state champion. Can you put that into words for me?
No, I can't. Not right now. I mean, this is the best thing I could ask for. I mean, to be able to play 14 games my senior year, especially with my brother at right tackle protecting me. I mean, it's the best thing I can ask for.
Well, go enjoy with your brother and the rest of your teams. I'm going to bring in your head coach here. Congratulations again, Logan. Emotions here with his head coach, Tim Rackey. Coach, what a battle. It came down to that final possession there for JCA here, but you guys come out on top, completing the three-peat. What does it say about your legacy?
It says a lot about my seniors because they came in as young freshmen when it was that COVID era, and our numbers were really hurting at that time. And this group of seniors stuck with us with, I guess it was a semi-rebuild. I mean, a group of them, they went to the quarterfinals as freshmen, and now they're on their third state title. So having that belief when our numbers are down and then building and taking care of the younger guys that came before them and teaching them the Nazareth way makes this extra special for me.
You just gave a big hug to your senior quarterback, Logan Malachek, who had an impressive game. What kind of inspired performance did you see from him today in the state championship?
Oh, I'm not surprised. I've seen that. I'm used to that inspired performance. I've seen that movie many times in his 4-year career as a quarterback at Nazareth. And, the legacy that, we had a lot of great quarterbacks, with J.J. McCarthy. And so there's a high standard, and Logan has just been above and beyond that standard as a quarterback and a leader.
Go celebrate, Coach. Congratulations.
Well, I will. Thank you.
All right, let's send it over to our public address announcer for the trophy ceremony.
Fans, we direct your attention to the Hancock Stadium turf,
where first and second place individual and team awards will be presented for the Class 5A state championship. Members of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors are on hand today to make the presentations, including Augie Fontanetta of New Trier, Ron Lear of Plainfield North, Tom Shergan of Chicago de La Salle, and Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East. First, let's meet the Joliet Catholic Superintendent and Principal Jeff Buds, Athletic Director Jim O'Brien, Coach Jake Jaworski, and the captains of runner-up Joliet Catholic. A special medallion is being presented to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Jaworski and his team captains. And now the second place trophy will be presented to the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic, who finished the season with a final record of 10 wins and 4 losses. And now for state champion Nazareth Academy, meet President Deborah Tracy, Principal Therese Hawkins, Athletic Director Denise Kavanaugh, and Coach Tim Rackey, and the captains of champion Nazareth. A special medallion is being presented to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Rackey and his team captains.
I had to. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We played against all
And now this year's state championship Class 5A team trophy will be presented to the Roadrunners of Nazareth Academy, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses.
Okay, so we're going to do play of the game.
That completes the awards presentation. The Illinois High School Association and Illinois Farm Families thank you for joining your team at Hancock Stadium. We hope you enjoyed your visit to Illinois State University. Please have a safe...
Congrats to Nazareth Academy. 6 state championships and 3 in the last 3 years. Unbelievable. Okay, now it's time for the Menards Play of the Game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And what a tremendous catch to keep Joliet Catholic in the game. This was with 3:30 left. Keegan Farnos got 1 foot in by a blade of grass.
Well, the other thing to this was he had to turn completely around. He wasn't initially going in that direction, so you talk about athleticism. He had to make a spin move like a ballet dancer in mid-flight to turn and make that catch.
You feel for Farnos. He made the drop on the 2-point conversion at the end, but a tremendous play there. 54 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 11 yards on the ground. So just job well done for Keegan Farnos and Joliet Catholic, who comes up shy in the final game for the 2nd straight year. But this is about Nazareth. Final thought.
Well, we had a great football game, no doubt about it. 2 outstanding football teams. Nazareth and Joliet Catholic, I would have paid to come and see this game. And a lot of credit to Nazareth. Tim Rackey does a great job. And we just had a great football game. I hate to see Joliet Catholic going out in 2nd place, but, gee, either one of these teams could have won the state championship. It turned out to be Nazareth.
And Nazareth was the winner, but the state of Illinois, all of you at home, are the winners. What a show. What a game. But the Nazareth Roadrunners emerged victorious. Now let's head to the studio. Marshall Harris, Tim Edgy O'Halloran.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Big game, big stakes, and certainly this one was very different than the 4 games we saw a day ago, Edgy.
It was a game.
It went all the way down to the wire, down to the last play, really, because you're talking about a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, no good, even the onside kick.
It was 28-14. I thought it was over. You thought it was over. You thought it was over.
it was not over. You got to give Joliet Catholic all the credit in the world for fighting back. Just missed out, but again, what a tremendous game, and Naz just cementing that legacy.
And Nazareth Academy deciding, why would we run the ball? That's not what we do. We're going to continue to try to attack, giving JCA some new life. And ultimately, they were able to survive, and now they are 3-time defending state champions.
It's a legacy to that senior class, as we heard from Tim Maracki. I mean, a group that just had tremendous success and just really great kids, too. So a lot of success for a lot of those kids coming up.
All right, so it's a Nazareth Academy 3-peat down at Hancock Stadium. They are still celebrating. We got the 5A game on the way, Geneva, East St. Louis.
News Nation is the only news network with year-round resources on the southern border.
Where are you guys from? Right in the thick of it. Coyote, you have a gun? When everyone else leaves, News Nation stays.
News Nation, news for all Americans.
Right arm, right leg, left arm. Both legs above the knee. Both legs, part of my left hand.